For the next couple guides, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to change up the format. I'm going to try and go for a little more clear, concise, and kind of just more streamlined, quick guide. At the end of most character guides, you usually get that long section where they show you the character in each dungeon, see their abilities pop and all that kind of fun stuff. And I think we're going to try and do a couple guides here for a little bit without doing that, because at least for me, when I'm watching a character guide, I usually find that section of the video pretty pointless because a lot of what a character does relies on the team you build around them. So you can see what their abilities do and all that fun stuff, but you don't really get an idea of how well they'd work for you because obviously you're not going to have the exact same champions I do, and I'm not going to have the same exact champions as someone else. So I kind of feel like it's a little bit of wasted time, and being a quick guide, it should be a little quicker. So what we're going to do is go over a character's skills, go over how I have them built artifact and stat wise, go over their masteries, and kind of just give you a nice groundwork of a character, where they'd be useful for, so that you can take that and run with it and add your own ideas, build them how you see fit, but just kind of give you a nice little groundwork on how a character works and where they might be useful, just to give you that base grasp on how to use a specific character. Because I feel like a little more general advice and a little more quick guide to them could be a lot more helpful than a really in-depth, this is how you build this specific character and so on and so forth, especially for newer players. So we're going to try a few guides that way, and we'll see how it goes. If you see the whole thing, leave me a comment and let me know if you like this format better, or if you'd rather see them run through all the different dungeons or clan boss and whatnot, because I can do both. I'm just going to try a few doing this way. And then if it doesn't work out, we'll go back. But either way, let's get into it. So today we're going to be going over Occult Brawler, a epic Ogryn Tribes character. This guy is really good in clan boss. I believe he can also be pretty solid in dragon. I haven't really found a use for him anywhere else. For me, he pretty much just sits on my clan boss team, but he is, right now, still my highest damage dealing champion for there. Got a few others in the works, so we'll see if they end up being stronger than him, but for right now, he has been my hard damage carry in clan boss for probably going on a year and a half of playing the game. So for his skills, you have attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a 5% poison for 2 turns, little extra damage, and then with 4 books he gets buffed up to a 60% chance. And then this skill right here, Curse Eater, this one is a mouthful, so I will simplify it for you. So what happens is, with his passive, places a 2.5% poison debuff on this champion for 4 turns at the start of each turn, and has a 70% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on a random enemy for 4 turns at the start of each turn. So what he does, he starts his turn, he puts a baby poison on himself, and then he puts a big poison or tries to put a big poison with multiple turns on it on the enemy. Works well in clan boss because the random enemy is only the one, so it works well there. So what this passive does, or this ability here does, is he attacks an enemy. If he, Occult Brawler, is under 1 or more debuffs, the attack will ignore 30% of defense. If he's under 2 of his 2 debuffs, enemies killed by the skill cannot be revived. If this champion has 3 or more debuffs, this attack is always critical. And if this champion has 4 or more debuffs, he heals by 30% of the damage inflicted. And if he's under 5 or more debuffs, grants an extra turn, removes all debuffs from this champion after the attack. So it's a lot of words to say he'll use up debuffs on himself and hit an enemy with varying degrees of added bonuses to it. I have found that this skill is pretty useless in clan boss. Obviously, block revive, pretty much useless. Ignores defense isn't bad, but he's not a super hard hitter. So even ignoring 30% of the clan boss defense, I'd rather be getting poisons up from the auto. So what I usually do in my little clan boss rotation team, character builder, whatever, is I go to tell it to not use this skill at all. Because I really don't want him wasting time using or wasting turns using this when he could be trying to get more poisons up. I've had a little bit of a damage increase turning off that skill and using the A1, so I think that's the way to go. You can definitely do your own testing. Maybe, building up some stacks of the poisons and whatnot on him and getting those extras is worth it. But in my opinion, it's worth turning that off and just sticking to let him use his A1 and his passive. So over here in the Masteries, it's not too complicated to build him. Obviously you want the offense tree because you really want to build down into the War Master so he has the chance at some big damage procs on the clan boss. I kind of follow this route. You could really follow any route in here because really you're just coming down here for that. And then in the support tree, I want accuracy, more accuracy, increase accuracy, and then increasing turn meter by 10% when a debuff cast by him is removed or expires. It'd be nice for a little turn meter boost, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And then I grabbed Lore of Steel because I was using a lot of life sets on him and stuff. Right now it's kind of pointless, but it's a nice little bonus to have if I do go back to using some standard stat boosting sets on him. And then Evil Eye, completely pointless. Honestly, I'm not even sure why I took it. Maybe I was using that for running Dragon a little bit or something. I really don't know, but I guess there's not a whole lot over here that's all that useful either, so kind of just a filler. But the most important ones are Sniper, increases the chances of placing any debuff from skills or artifacts, so that, what is it, a 60% chance is now at a 65% chance, and the 75 chance on the passive for the poison, or 70, sorry, is now a 75. So it just increases his chances of getting more poisons out there. And then Master Hexer, 30% chance of extending the duration of any debuff, cast by this champion by 1 turn. It will not extend, blah, 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 all the specialty ones. So basically, these two here will give you a higher chance at landing the poisons, and a chance at making the poisons last longer. Probably the two most important ones here besides the accuracy bonuses. And then as far as artifacts go, obviously I have a accuracy banner on him because you at least want, I want to say it's at least 250 accuracy to make sure he's not regularly being resisted. I would shoot for a little bit higher because at least in my playtime with it, having 250 accuracy, I've still been getting some resists from the clan boss a little more often than I'd like. So I'm not quite sure what that's about, but I would shoot for like 260, 275, somewhere in there. But 250, I believe, is kind of the minimum where you're not going to be resisted regularly. And then I just went with an HP amulet. You could try to go for more damage and go, you know, crit damage amulet, but it'll kind of just depend on the stats you end up with and if you're actually trying to go for a lot of damage. I mainly just went for sustain, speed, and accuracy. So that's what I did. And then I've got this weird little specialty ring from a clan versus clan, little attack, lots of defense and HP bonuses here though. So that's what I did. Sadly it got some bad rolls, but for right now it's kind of the best ring I had, so I'm using it there. And then I just recently switched to using retaliation gear. Yeah, that's the name of it. I almost forgot it for a second there. 35% chance of counterattacking. I was using lifesteal for a long time, but I have enough healing going on in my team that personally I was trying to see if I could get some extra damage out of him by counterattacking and proccing more poisons and, you know, War Masters on the Z1. The one time I've run it since changing all this, he seemed to hit 500,000 to almost a mil more in the little bit I've tested. So we'll see going forward. I may end up having to switch back to a different set, but for right now I'm trying out counterattack just to see how it works out. And then the other two pieces are perception gear, both for the accuracy and the speed bonus, as you can see there. And then I'm rolling with defense percentage on the gauntlets and defense on the chest, because the one sad thing about his base stats is he does have a pretty low base defense and an okay base HP, so it's kind of hard to get his defense high enough to be really solid. So that's why I went with both of the defense pieces here, and then the rest is just kind of standard stats. But mostly I was looking for that speed and that accuracy along with the extra health and defense anywhere I could. So that's how I have his gear set up. And then in here we're at 215 speed, 254 accuracy. Like I said, I'm trying to get it a little bit higher, but gear, silver, and all that fun stuff. 42,000 HP, and then 2,500 defense. It'd be nice to have this closer to 3 and then this closer to 50, but you do what you can with what you got. I'll probably be swapping out pieces as I collect better ones, but for now this is kind of what I was able to get. A little bit of crit rate, little bit of crit damage, nothing exciting there. If he gets the crits, cool. If not, whatever. I'm mostly counting on War Master and poisons from him. But he's done pretty well. I have averaged about 8 to 11 million on Nightmare Clan Boss. He's been pretty nutty. He's been a lot of fun. He does a lot of damage with those poisons. And he's been really reliable. I haven't had too much variation in his damage. So I believe even in Ultra Nightmare, he'd probably be pretty solid. I think I'd need more accuracy for there, but my clan's not quite there yet. But at least in Nightmare, he's been really good, really solid, and he's a really good champion. If you get him, count yourself lucky and see if you can fit him in on your clan boss team. Like I said at the beginning of the video, he's been such a hard carry for damage in my clan boss teams, and it's been such a reliable damage output that I just have not been able to find someone that does better than him. So if you need a clan boss poisoner, and you pulled Occult Brawler, you've got one of the best non-legendaries to do that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video was able to help you at all, and for your sake, I hope you've been able to pull an Occult Brawler. And like I said at the beginning, if you like this little quicker, faster paced, not doing all that extra stuff at the end, showing him in all the different places he can be used and whatnot format, let me know, because like I said, I can go back to either one, keep doing this, do the other. Either way is a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing these videos. So just leave me a comment on which way you like better, and if there's any champions you'd like to see covered. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.